Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. You're just getting started in digital photography, all right? And you're looking for some advice, where to start, what are the important things? Well, I've written down some important things that I just want to give a little bit of insight into. So you're getting started, what first? Number one, shoot raw. Raw is the most important thing you can do in terms of photography at this point. A lot of people may complain and say raw's too big, it takes up too much room. But remember your negatives? Did you throw them out after you got those 4x6 prints and then you made enlargements from 4x6 prints? I don't think so. Think of the raw file as your original negative. You can always go back to it to make pictures better or to go from that and make a print. Okay, so then after shooting raw, composition. Get your composition right. And what I mean by that is crop in the camera and not in the darkroom. Use your feet to move closer. Fill the frame. Okay? Those are all parts of composition. Your rules of thirds and things like that. Get out of the mindset that I can crop it later so I don't have to get closer. You don't want to crop. If you get it right in the camera, your quality is going to be drastically better than if you have to crop. And I understand that these cameras now have great amounts of megapixels and you can do all the cropping in the world, but imagine how much better you are from everybody else if you get it right in the camera in terms of composition. We'll go into more detail on all of this later. Lenses. I say this all the time. Lenses, they don't have to be expensive, but if you have a 2.8 or better, in my opinion, you're giving yourself a better start. Okay? This is a 35 millimeter 1.8. It's a $200 lens, but it will blow any kit lens out of the water. Sure, it doesn't zoom, but you have feet. Or if you don't have feet and you're in a wheelchair, you have a wheelchair. It can move forward and back. Yeah, that just, whatever. Okay, so you have the ability to move. Get better lenses. Spend a little bit more money in the forefront on a better lens. I've made all the mistakes in the past. I've bought the shitty lens that I didn't know better. I bought a 100 to 300 5.6 and I was like, why doesn't this work well in low light? I didn't know any better. Better glass is going to make you happier. Your job is going to be much easier. You're not going to get as frustrated, and I'll explain all that in more detail later. And one of the last things is your post-processing. That is just as important as anything in photography at this point. You have those raw files now. What do we do with them? How do we bring them into the computer? How do we process them? What are the techniques you can use to make your images better after the fact in terms of processing? I'm one of those people that says get the picture right in the camera first in terms of getting the shot, at least taking it, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Quote Wayne Gretzky, okay? So if your settings are mighty close and you're not off by astronomical numbers, your raw file is going to allow you to bring it back later. You have a nice range to do that. So get the picture first, but make sure your settings are pretty damn close. We're going to go into detail about all of this, but your post-processing is really, really important. I think a lot of my great pictures are made great in post-processing, and I don't mean cutting things out, and I don't mean, you know, erasing things that shouldn't be there or cropping. I mean tightening up your image. Like if I was in the darkroom and I used a filter like a number 3.5, and that's what brought out the contrast in my prints back in the day. That's what I mean. I mean tweaking your file so that it has optimum contrast, optimum color, or even optimum black and white, because those are things that make your pictures better. You have to edit every single raw file because that's the nature of a raw file. So there's my warning again. I need to get a clock. But that's what I'm saying. Remember these steps. We're going to go in detail about all of it. These are the most important. Stay tuned.